Today, what I'm about to tell you is not just motivation. It's a shift in mindset. If you truly understand this and apply it, you will move ahead of 99% of people. This philosophy reflects the strategic thinking of Niccolò Machiavelli, a mindset not built for the weak, but for those who are ready to master themselves and the world around them. The world is divided into two types of people, those who are controlled by circumstances and those who control circumstances. Most people react emotionally. Their mood depends on how others treat them. A compliment makes them happy. Being ignored makes them insecure. Sure, they blame luck, society, or timing for their failures. But luck does not work for those who do not work on themselves. If you want to get ahead of 99%, the first thing you must master is emotional control. Understand people, study their behavior, but never hand them control over your inner state. No, sale. People change, loyalty shifts, friends become competitors. If you break every time someone disappoints you, you will never build strength. The majority chase short-term pleasure. They avoid discipline because it feels uncomfortable. They escape sacrifice because it feels painful. But the top 1% embrace discomfort. They wake up early while others sleep. They build skills while others scroll. They prepare while others complain. You must become ruthless, not toward others, but toward your own weaknesses. Most people crave approval. They want to be liked by everyone. Everyone. The day you stop needing validation is the day you become powerful. Respect is earned, not begged for. If you try to please everyone, you lose direction. Think strategically. Do not reveal every plan. Silence is power. The majority announce their goals for temporary validation. Real players move quietly. They let results speak. Understand fear. People are controlled either by love or by fear. But the highest form of power is self-control. When you master your impulses and desires, no one can manipulate you. Most people react. The elite respond. When someone betrays you, do not collapse. Observe, learn, study human nature. Trust carefully. Give loyalty wisely. Never trade your self-respect for acceptance. The world runs on leverage, not emotion. Increase your value. Develop rare skills. Strengthen your communication. Refine your body language. Speak less, but speak with weight. Most talk too much and act too little. You should act more and talk less. Do not fear loneliness. Growth often happens in isolation. In silence, you gain clarity. In solitude, you build strategy. Noise fades. Focus sharpens. Bow sharpens. Stop comparing your life to someone else's highlights. The only real competition is who you were yesterday. If you were better today, you are winning. Take risks, but calculated ones. Do not act impulsively. Observe, analyze. Then move. Impulsive people fall quickly. Strategic people move slowly, but they move far. Your reputation is your currency. Once damaged, it is difficult to rebuild. Protect it. Be consistent. When people see discipline and stability in you, they begin to take you seriously. Never expose desperation, whether for money, relationships, or success. Desperation weakens your position. Detachment strengthens it. Power begins with perception. Never stop learning. Most people stop growing after formal education. Leaders remain students for life. Read, observe, question. Knowledge is a silent weapon. Above all, patience. Modern culture promotes instant results. Real success compounds over time. Improve daily, even if it's small progress. 1 year of focused consistency can make you unrecognizable. This path is not easy. People may misunderstand you. They may criticize you. They may mock you. But remember, 99% remain average because they listen to average voices. If you truly want to rise above, build mental toughness. Build emotional stability. Build strategic awareness. Take control of your life. If you stay around people who complain, avoid responsibility, and mock ambition, you will slowly lower your own expectations. Protect your environment. Understand timing. Sometimes the strongest move is patience. Sometimes the strongest move is silence. Not every battle requires reaction. Not every opinion deserves attention. Select your battles wisely. Develop the ability to walk away from disrespect, from manipulation, from environments that shrink you. The person who is willing to walk away holds invisible power. Measure your progress privately. Improve quietly. Improve quiet. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. True strength does not need constant display. And remember this: consistency beats intensity. A single week of extreme effort means nothing if followed by months of distraction. Small daily discipline over years creates unstoppable momentum. You will feel alone at times. You will question yourself. You will wonder if the effort is worth it. That is the test. The majority turn back at that point. The minority continue. Ahead of 99% is not a destination. It is a lifestyle. It is choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. It is choosing discipline over ego. It is choosing strategy over impulse. Every day you wake up, you are either training yourself to be average or training yourself to be exceptional. The decision is quiet. No one sees it. But over time, everyone sees the result. Most people never become powerful because they never become dangerous to their old self. They try to improve, but they keep their comfort zone untouched. Real transformation requires you to outgrow the version of you that seeks ease, approval, and distraction. You cannot rise while protecting your excuses. The majority say they want success, but their daily habits vote for comfort. They say they want respect, but they avoid confrontation. They say they want wealth, but they fear risk. Their words and actions are in conflict. And conflict within a person always leads to stagnation. Alignment is power. When your thoughts, standards, and actions match, you become unstoppable. If you say you train, you train, you train. If you say you study, you study, you study. If you say you will not tolerate disrespect, you enforce it calmly. No drama. No announcement, just action. Another truth, control your image before others define it for you. Perception shapes opportunity. People decide how to treat you based on the signals you consistently send. If you appear uncertain, they doubt you. If you appear desperate, they test you. If you appear composed and focused, they respect distance. This is not manipulation. This is awareness. Study human nature. People are driven by self-interest. They support what benefits them. They respect what feels strong. They align with what feels stable. Once you understand this, you stop taking everything personally. Rejection becomes redirection. Criticism becomes data. Failure becomes training. And suddenly, nothing shakes you the way it once did. You must also master timing in speech. Not every thought deserves expression. Silence forces others to reveal more. Silence creates mystery. Silence gives you information while costing you nothing. Most people talk to impress. Powerful people speak to influence. There is a difference. Build leverage in every area of life. Financial leverage, skill leverage, social leverage, social leverage. The more options you have, the less you tolerate. The less you tolerate, the stronger your position becomes. Dependence weakens negotiation. Independence strengthens it. Train yourself to think long-term, 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. The majority cannot think beyond the weekend. That is why they stay trapped in cycles. When you zoom out, short-term drama loses importance. Petty arguments feel small. Temporary setbacks feel manageable. Long-term thinking creates emotional stability. Another advantage, become comfortable being misunderstood. When you level up, not everyone will recognize your vision. Some will say you changed. Some will say you became distant. What they really mean is that you stopped being accessible in the same way. Growth creates separation, and separation is necessary. Guard your time aggressively. Time is the only resource that never returns. Audit your day. Where is it leaking? Endless scrolling, meaningless conversations, repeated distractions. Every leak weakens momentum. Momentum is everything. When you build positive momentum, small wins daily, confidence rises naturally. Not fake confidence, earned confidence, the kind that does not need validation because it has proof. Also understand this. Discipline feels heavy at first and powerful later. Regret feels light at first and crushing later. Choose your weight wisely. The top 1% are not superhuman. They simply tolerate discomfort longer. They stay focused longer. They remain consistent longer. They delay rewards longer. Length of focus determines height of success. Sharpen your mind like a weapon. Read difficult books. Have uncomfortable conversations. Challenge your own assumptions. Weak minds seek agreement. Strong minds seek truth. When pressure comes, and it will, see it as a test of identity. Are you who you claim to be when it's inconvenient? Anyone can appear disciplined when motivated. Character shows when no one is watching. Build habits that run automatically. Wake up at a fixed time. Train at a fixed time. Study at a fixed time. Structure reduces decision fatigue. Less decision fatigue means more energy for high-level thinking. Stop chasing excitement. Chase mastery. Excitement fades. Mastery compounds. And finally, understand that becoming ahead of 99% is not about arrogance. It is about responsibility. When you elevate yourself, you gain influence. When you gain influence, you must use it wisely. Power without discipline becomes destruction. Discipline without vision becomes limitation. Vision with discipline becomes dominance. You are building dominance over your impulses, your environment, your future. No noise, no begging, no shortcuts, just calculated moves, silent improvement, relentless standards. One day, the gap between you and the majority will be obvious. And the most powerful part? You will have built it so quietly that no one saw you coming. To get ahead of 99%, you must accept that discomfort is not the enemy. It is the teacher. Every situation that makes you uneasy is a test of your discipline, patience, and focus. The majority avoid it. You embrace it. The pain of effort today becomes the leverage of power tomorrow. Do not confuse busyness with productivity. Most people fill their days with noise, socializing, scrolling, or shallow tasks. You must treat every hour like a resource that compounds. Every hour invested in skill, strategy, or self-mastery multiplies over time. Time spent chasing approval or avoiding challenge is lost forever. Your relationships are tools and tests. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who elevate your thinking, and who respect your boundaries. Distance yourself from those who drain your energy, gossip, or mock ambition. Influence is contagious. Absorb the mindset of winners. Master observation. The quiet ones notice patterns. The impatient ones act blindly. Watch human behavior. Predict reactions. Learn what motivates, what scares, and what excites. Knowledge of others' drives allows you to navigate the world without being manipulated. Resilience is your armor. The top 1% do not crumble under setbacks. They anticipate failure, learn from it, and adjust silently. Every obstacle is a rehearsal for the next level. Every loss becomes data for improvement. Fear of failure diminishes when preparation is meticulous. Do not underestimate small habits. Wake up early. Read daily, exercise, plan, journal, reflect. These seemingly mundane actions compound into extraordinary results over months and years. Most people dismiss them because they feel it too small to matter, but mastery is built on accumulation, not chance. Embrace solitude. Loneliness is the forge of clarity. In isolation, you see your goals clearly. You understand your weaknesses and strengths. You refine strategy without distraction. Most avoid it because it feels uncomfortable. You must seek it because it produces insight. Learn the art of timing. Speak less than you think. Act less than you could. Observe more than you engage. Every move in life has weight. The wrong move at the wrong time can cost more than action itself. Precision matters. Power is silent. Influence is subtle. Confidence is quiet. Most people seek attention, but true dominance does not need to announce itself. It is recognized naturally because results speak louder than words. Detach from external validation. Praise and criticism are fleeting. Your internal standards must define your actions. Dependence on others' approval is weakness. Strength comes from internal alignment, doing what is necessary even when no one notices. Finally, remember, patience and consistency beat urgency and intensity. Success is rarely instant. It is compounded through daily, deliberate choices over years. The gap between you and the average grows silently, imperceptibly, until one day it is undeniable. You are not just trying to be better. You are training to be uncatchable, faster, stronger, calmer, sharper than everyone else. You are building the life that the majority only dream of. The difference between you and them is simple. You choose discipline over comfort, strategy over impulse, silence over noise, long-term over short-term. Do this relentlessly. Do this quietly. And one day the world will notice, not because you demanded attention, but because you earned dominance. If you want, I can expand this into a full 50-minute speech version in English, fully structured, with smooth transitions, like a real motivational lecture you could deliver. It would be a complete, ready-to-use version. Do you want me to do that? Understand this. Most people are enslaved by their own habits and thoughts without even realizing it. They allow impulses, distractions, and other people's expectations to dictate their actions. The top 1% do the opposite. They discipline their mind before it disciplines them. Control your attention. Attention is the currency of reality. Where your focus goes, energy flows. If you allow your mind to wander at random, watching meaningless content, obsessing over gossip, reacting to notifications, your life becomes fragmented. The disciplined mind concentrates on what matters, ignores what doesn't, and builds quietly every day. Every choice you make compounds. Missing one day of growth is a small loss. Ignoring a year is catastrophic. The difference between the elite and the average is not luck, it is accumulation. Knowledge, skill, and reputation all compound silently until they reach a tipping point. Stop giving away your power in relationships. Most people try too hard to be liked, to avoid conflict, or to appease others. The result? They are weak, indecisive, and controlled. Learn to say no. Learn to walk away. Learn to withhold yourself from those who drain you. Every boundary you enforce strengthens your position and signals value to the world. Fear will always exist. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of losing control. But mastery is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite it. The elite recognize fear, analyze it, and act anyway. That is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. Your mind is a battlefield. Your environment is a test. Your daily choices are the weapons. Use them wisely. Discard what weakens you. Invest in what strengthens you. Most people wander through life without strategy. You must treat every action as a tactical decision. Close your eyes for a moment and think about how much of your life has been controlled by worry. From the moment you wake up, your mind begins asking questions. What will people think of me? What if I fail? What if things don't go my way? This constant fear quietly steals your power. It weakens your confidence, slows your decisions, and traps you in hesitation. But the moment you stop worrying about everything that might go wrong, something powerful begins to happen. You start thinking clearly, you start acting boldly, and slowly you begin to win. Many people believe that success comes from intelligence, talent, or luck. But if you look deeper into history and the minds of great strategists, you will notice something different. One of the greatest political thinkers in history, Niccolò Machiavelli, understood a simple but brutal truth about human nature. People who worry too much lose control of their own destiny. Worry makes you cautious when you should be bold. It makes you silent when you should speak. It makes you retreat when you should move forward. Worry is not just a feeling. It is a silent chain that holds your potential hostage. Imagine a warrior stepping onto a battlefield while constantly thinking about losing. Every step would feel heavy. Every decision would feel dangerous. Wait. That warrior would hesitate, and hesitation in the battlefield is defeat. Life works the same way. When you constantly worry about judgment, rejection, or failure, you move slower than the world around you. The truth is that most of the things people worry about never actually happen. People worry about what others will say, but those same people are too busy worrying about their own lives. People worry about failing, but failure is often the very path that leads to mastery. People worry about losing opportunities, yet their fear of taking action is what truly makes them lose. When you stop worrying, your mind becomes lighter. Decisions become easier. Instead of wasting energy imagining problems, you start using that energy to create solutions. This shift in mindset is powerful. It changes the way you walk, the way you speak, and the way people perceive you. Confidence is not something you are born with. Confidence grows the moment you stop seeking approval from everyone around you. The strongest individuals in history were often misunderstood. They were criticized, doubted, and sometimes even hated. But they moved forward anyway, because they understood something important. The opinions of the crowd are temporary, but the consequences of your own inaction can last forever. Think about how many dreams die because of worry. Someone wants to start a business but fears losing money. Someone wants to speak their mind but fears criticism. Someone wants to change their life but fears stepping into the unknown. Slowly, the years pass, and those dreams remain locked away, not because they were impossible, but because fear convinced them to stay safe. But safety is often the most dangerous place to live. When you live only to avoid failure, you also avoid greatness. You avoid growth. You avoid the experiences that could transform your life. This is why those who win in life are often the ones who take calculated risks while everyone else stays frozen in doubt. When you stop worrying, you also gain something incredibly valuable: mental clarity. Instead of reacting emotionally to every situation, you begin to observe people and circumstances more carefully. You start seeing patterns, you understand motives, you become strategic in the way you move through the world. People who worry constantly often try to control things they cannot control. They stress about the future, about other people's behavior, about outcomes that are uncertain. But powerful individuals focus only on what is within their control, their actions, their mindset, and their persistence. Once you accept that uncertainty is part of life, a strange freedom appears. You realize that worrying will not change the outcome of tomorrow, but your actions today might, and this realization pushes you to act instead of overthinking. There is also a hidden advantage in not worrying about what people think. When you stop chasing approval, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. People cannot easily manipulate someone who does not depend on their validation. They cannot control someone who is comfortable standing alone. Many individuals spend their lives trying to please everyone around them. They adjust their personality, hide their opinions, and sacrifice their ambitions just to avoid criticism. But this approach slowly erodes their identity. They become strangers to themselves. Winning in life requires something different. It requires courage to accept that not everyone will understand you. Some people will doubt you. Some will even hope you fail. But their opinions only have power if you allow them to live inside your mind. When you remove that mental noise, your focus becomes sharper. You begin to see opportunities that others ignore. While others hesitate, you act. While others complain, you adapt. While others worry about risks, you calculate them and move forward. This mindset does not mean ignoring reality or being reckless. It means understanding that fear should inform your decisions, not control them. It means learning from mistakes instead of being paralyzed by the possibility of making them. Think about every major success story you know. Behind each one is a moment where someone decided to stop worrying about the outcome and simply take action. That moment is where transformation begins. Your mind is the most powerful weapon you possess. But if it is filled with constant anxiety and doubt, that weapon turns against you. The goal is not to eliminate challenges from your life. The goal is to strengthen your mindset so challenges no longer intimidate you. When you stop worrying about losing, you start focusing on improving. When you stop worrying about judgment, you start expressing your real ideas. When you stop worrying about timing, you start taking the steps that move you forward. Over time, these small shifts create massive results. Confidence grows through action. Experience grows through risk. Wisdom grows through mistakes. The world quietly rewards those who keep moving forward despite uncertainty. Not because they are fearless, but because they refuse to let fear dictate their choices. Imagine waking up every day without the heavy burden of worrying about everything that might go wrong. Imagine using that mental energy to plan, create, and execute. Imagine becoming someone who acts while others hesitate. That is the moment where winning begins. Because success is not always about having the perfect strategy or unlimited resources. Often it begins with a simple decision inside your mind. The decision to stop worrying about the things you cannot control and start focusing on the actions you can take today. And once you make that decision, something remarkable happens. Your posture changes, your voice becomes stronger. Your thinking becomes sharper. Opportunities that once seemed distant begin to appear within reach. Life will always contain uncertainty. There will always be risks, criticism, and unexpected obstacles. But those who learn to move forward without being consumed by worry become incredibly difficult to stop. They adapt faster. They recover quicker. They learn more from every experience. And slowly, without even realizing it at first, they begin to win. Not because the world suddenly became easier, but because they finally stopped allowing worry to control the direction of their life. The moment you stop worrying, you begin to understand something that most people never realize. Worry never builds anything. It never creates opportunity. It never moves your life forward. It only drains your energy and clouds your judgment. A person who spends hours worrying about the future is slowly handing over control of their present. And the present is the only place where real power exists. Think about how often the mind creates imaginary disasters. You imagine failure before you even try. You imagine rejection before you even speak. You imagine embarrassment before you even take a step forward. The mind becomes a storyteller of fear, but these stories rarely become reality. They exist only inside your thoughts, yet they influence your actions so strongly that they shape your destiny. A person who is trapped in worry becomes predictable. They hesitate before every decision. They wait for perfect conditions that never arrive. They seek reassurance from others instead of trusting their own judgment, but life rarely rewards hesitation. Opportunities often appear suddenly and disappear quickly. Those who act decisively capture them, while those who worry watch them slip away. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life is realizing that mistakes are not enemies. They are teachers. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has failed many times, but they did not stop because of fear. They kept moving. They kept adjusting. They kept learning. When you stop worrying about failure, failure loses its power over you. Instead of seeing it as proof that you are not capable, you start seeing it as information. It tells you what works and what does not. It refines your strategy. It sharpens your instincts. Over time, these lessons become experience, and experience becomes wisdom. The philosophy of Niccolò Machiavelli often focused on understanding reality rather than hiding from it. He believed that power belongs to those who understand how the world truly works, not how they wish it worked. And one of the realities of life is that uncertainty will always exist. Trying to eliminate uncertainty is impossible. Learning to move confidently within uncertainty is where strength begins. Many people believe confidence comes from having guarantees, but real confidence comes from accepting that there are no guarantees. It comes from trusting your ability to handle whatever happens next. When you adopt this mindset, the future no longer feels like a threat. It becomes a field of possibilities. Consider the way successful leaders, entrepreneurs, and creators approach challenges. They do not wait until they feel completely ready. If they waited for perfect certainty, they would never begin. Instead, they move forward while learning along the way. Action becomes their teacher. There is also a psychological transformation that occurs when you stop worrying about other people's opinions. You begin to reclaim your identity. Instead of constantly adjusting yourself to fit the expectations of others, you begin to express your authentic ideas and ambitions. This does not mean ignoring feedback or refusing to learn from others. It means understanding the difference between constructive advice and unnecessary judgment. The opinions that truly matter are the ones that help you grow, not the ones that try to keep you small. When your mind is free from constant worry, your creativity expands. You start noticing possibilities that you once ignored. Problems begin to look like puzzles instead of threats. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to develop new skills and stronger resilience. Resilience is the quiet force behind every victory. It is the ability to continue moving forward even when things do not go as planned. People who worry excessively often quit early because uncertainty feels unbearable to them. But resilient individuals accept discomfort as part of growth. Imagine a person climbing a mountain. The path is difficult, the weather is unpredictable, the climb is exhausting. If that person spends the entire journey worrying about slipping or falling, they will eventually lose their focus and their courage. But if they concentrate on each step, each movement, each moment the summit slowly comes closer, life operates in the same way. Progress is made step by step, not through endless worrying, but through consistent action. Another hidden truth is that people who worry less often appear more powerful to others. Calmness in uncertain situations signals strength. When others panic, the person who remains composed naturally gains influence. People trust stability. They follow clarity. This is why emotional control is one of the greatest advantages a person can develop. The ability to remain calm when things become chaotic allows you to think clearly while others become overwhelmed. When you stop worrying, you also develop patience. Instead of forcing immediate results, you learn to focus on long-term progress. You understand that meaningful success rarely happens overnight. It grows slowly through consistent effort and intelligent decisions. Over time, the compound effect of your actions begins to appear. Small improvements accumulate, skills sharpen, networks expand, opportunities multiply. What once seemed impossible gradually becomes achievable. There is also a deeper psychological freedom that emerges when worry disappears. You begin to live more fully in the present moment. Instead of constantly projecting yourself into a fearful future, you become aware of the possibilities that exist right now. Many people miss incredible opportunities because they are mentally living somewhere else. They are either regretting the past or fearing the future. Meanwhile, the present moment passes quietly, filled with chances they never notice. The moment you stop worrying is the moment you reclaim your attention. And attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. Where you place your attention determines what grows in your life. If your attention is focused on fear, fear expands. If your attention is focused on growth, growth expands. If your attention is focused on possibility, possibility begins to appear everywhere. You also start realizing that life is not a game where you must avoid every loss. Losses are inevitable. Every ambitious journey contains setbacks, but each setback contains lessons that refine your character and strengthen your strategy. Those who eventually win are not the ones who avoid difficulties. They are the ones who learn how to navigate them without losing their direction. Over time, this mindset creates a powerful reputation around you. People begin to notice your composure. They see that you do not panic easily. They see that you act when others hesitate. This quiet confidence naturally attracts respect and opportunity. The world often rewards those who appear certain, even if they are still learning. Confidence signals capability. It suggests leadership. It inspires trust. But the foundation of that confidence is not arrogance. It is the simple decision to stop letting worry dominate your thoughts. You begin to accept that no path in life is perfectly safe. Every dream contains risk. Every goal requires courage. Every transformation demands discomfort. Once you accept this reality, fear loses much of its influence. Instead of trying to eliminate risk, you learn to manage it intelligently. You calculate your moves, you prepare yourself, and then you step forward. This is the turning point where life begins to change. Not because external circumstances suddenly become easier, but because your internal mindset becomes stronger. You begin to see life less as a fragile situation that must be protected and more as an adventure that must be experienced. Each day becomes an opportunity to test your abilities, expand your knowledge, and refine your character. And the beautiful part of this transformation is that it begins with a single shift in perspective. The moment you stop worrying about everything that could go wrong, you create space in your mind for everything that could go right. And that is the moment where winning quietly begins. There comes a quiet moment in life when you realize that worry has never protected you from anything. It only convinced you to live smaller than you were meant to live. Many people walk through life carrying invisible weight on their shoulders. They carry the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of uncertainty. That weight slowly bends their posture, weakens their courage, and dims their ambition. But something remarkable happens when you begin to let go of that weight. Your mind starts to breathe again. The fog of overthinking slowly disappears, and for the first time, you can see the path ahead with clarity. You begin to realize that life was never meant to be controlled perfectly. It was meant to be experienced boldly. Most people wait for a moment when they feel completely ready. They wait for certainty, for approval, for guarantees that everything will go smoothly. But that moment almost never arrives. Life does not reward those who wait endlessly for safety. It rewards those who move forward despite uncertainty. When you stop worrying about every possible outcome, you unlock a different type of energy within yourself. This energy is not reckless, and it is not blind ambition. It is focused courage. It is the understanding that progress comes from action, not from endless thinking. The mind has a strange habit of magnifying problems before they even exist. A small obstacle becomes a huge disaster in your imagination. A simple risk becomes a terrifying possibility. But reality rarely unfolds the way our fears predict. The things we worry about the most turn out to be temporary challenges that disappear faster than we expected, and sometimes the situations we feared the most become the exact experiences that make us stronger. One of the harsh truths about life is that worry cannot prevent pain. Difficult moments will come whether you worry about them or not. Challenges will appear whether you are prepared or not. But the difference lies in how you respond to them. A person who constantly worries enters every challenge already defeated in their mind. Their thoughts are filled with doubt and hesitation. But a person who has learned to release worry approaches the same situation with curiosity and determination. Instead of asking, "Oh, what if I fail?" they ask, "Oh, what can I learn from this?" Instead of asking, "Oh, what Will people think? They ask, what do I truly want to achieve? This shift in thinking transforms your entire relationship with life. Suddenly, obstacles stop looking like walls and start looking like doors that require effort to open. The philosophy often associated with the mindset of powerful strategists like Niccolò Machiavelli emphasizes the importance of understanding human nature and adapting to reality. Reality is unpredictable. People are unpredictable. Circumstances change without warning. But those who accept this unpredictability become stronger because they stop fighting against the nature of life. Instead of wasting energy trying to control everything, they focus on mastering themselves. They strengthen their discipline. They sharpen their thinking. They train themselves to remain calm even when situations become chaotic. Calmness is a rare form of power. When everyone around you is overwhelmed with stress and panic, the person who remains composed automatically gains influence. Clear thinking becomes your advantage. Rational decisions become your weapon. Another truth that many people ignore is that worry often grows from the need for approval. Humans naturally want to be accepted. They want to be liked. They want to avoid criticism. But when this desire becomes too strong, it begins to control their choices. They stop expressing bold ideas because someone might disagree. They stop chasing ambitious goals because someone might doubt them. They start shaping their entire identity around the expectations of others. But those who achieve extraordinary results eventually understand that approval is not the path to greatness. Authenticity is. The moment you stop worrying about pleasing everyone, you start building a life that actually belongs to you. Your decisions become clearer. Your priorities become stronger. Your path becomes more defined. And yes, some people may criticize you. Some may misunderstand you. But those reactions are part of every meaningful journey. No great achievement has ever existed without resistance. History is filled with individuals who were doubted, mocked, or rejected before they succeeded. If they had listened to every voice telling them to play safe, their impact would never have existed. The truth is that courage does not mean the absence of fear. Courage means refusing to let fear dictate your actions. It means acknowledging uncertainty while still choosing to move forward. Every day offers a new opportunity to practice this mindset. You can choose to spend your energy worrying about problems that might never happen, or you can use that energy to build something meaningful. When you begin to focus on action instead of worry, momentum appears in your life. Small actions lead to small progress. Small progress builds confidence. Confidence encourages bigger actions. Over time, this cycle creates a powerful transformation. The person who once hesitated begins to move decisively. The person who once doubted themselves begins to trust their instincts. The person who once feared the future begins to shape. Life becomes less about avoiding mistakes and more about pursuing growth. Each challenge becomes part of your development. Each risk becomes a lesson. And slowly you begin to notice something interesting. The more you focus on action instead of worry, the more opportunities start appearing. Not because luck suddenly favors you, but because you are finally in motion. Opportunities often hide behind effort. They appear when you try new things, meet new people, and push beyond familiar boundaries. But worry keeps people trapped in their comfort zones where very little changes. The moment you step beyond that mental prison, the world begins to open in unexpected ways. Your resilience grows stronger. Your vision becomes clearer. Your ambition becomes louder than your fear. You start realizing that life was never meant to be lived cautiously at every step. It was meant to be explored with courage, intelligence, and determination. The future will always remain uncertain. No strategy can remove every risk. No plan can predict every outcome. But that uncertainty is not a weakness of life. It is what makes life full of possibility. Because if the future were completely predictable, there would be no adventure, no discovery, and no growth. The moment you stop worrying is the moment you begin trusting your ability to handle whatever comes next. And when that trust becomes strong enough, something powerful happens inside you. You stop waiting for the right moment. You become the person who creates it.